Speaking to me now, Harris Khan. Harris, first time I've interviewed you, so just tell the viewers a little bit about yourself, your background, how you started in boxing, where you're from, that type of thing.
I'm Harris Khan and I'm from Penarth. I originally started boxing when I was about 7 or 8 years old. I can't even remember now. Feels like I've boxed forever. I had my first fight about 10 years old I was, and I've carried on boxing up until now, and I'm 24, professional. I got my upcoming fight now, a 4th fight.
Okay, so which amateur gym did you box at?
Well, originally when I had my first fight I was in Penarth ABC with Neil Munn, and then a couple of years afterwards I moved on to Grange ABC, who's Kaz Khan and David White, and that's where I boxed all the way until the end. I boxed for the Wales squad and lived there and stuff like that.
So how many amateur fights did you have? Who were the type of guys you were fighting at the time?
I've boxed all around the world as an amateur in the end. I've had about 70 amateur fights, I think, if I remember correctly. I boxed in the Commonwealth Games, 2 senior Welsh titles. I boxed Lewis Richardson, who was the recent bronze medalist from the Olympics. So yeah, a good few boys in there, a lot of Olympians as well.
I mean, did you have any dreams of going to the Olympics yourself?
Well, actually, as an amateur, I'd always thought about that. Like, I loved the amateur style in the 3 rounds, and I still watch it all now today. But what it was, 75 kilos, becoming a non-Olympic weight was what I was boxing at. So the dream was over at that point. It wasn't in the Olympics.
And you mentioned the Olympics there. What did you think of the Olympic boxing this year?
Really enjoyed it. I think I watched every fight, and a lot of the boys I'd fought, so I had a bit more of an interest in it. And yeah, I loved it, to be fair.
And were you thinking, as you were watching it, I wish I was there, that type of thing, or are you past that now?
I love pro boxing now, and I've learned to love the longer rounds and enjoy it like that. So I was probably the opposite, to be fair. I was glad I'm pro.
Okay, so why did you make the jump from the amateur ranks to the pro ranks? What was the decision to take that leap?
I think it was time, to be honest with you. I think I was 22 or 23. I'd been to a Commonwealth Games, and if I wanted to wait for another Commonwealth Games, it would have been another 4 years. And I thought I was too old by then. It was just turn pro in my prime.
Okay, so you're training here in Barry with Lee Selby, former world champion, of course. I mean, you're very lucky these days. There's lots of good boxing trainers and good gyms in Wales. So why did you decide to train here with Lee?
Do you know what? It came naturally, to be fair. I come down to train with Lee once or twice, and honestly, our styles just gelled very well. And you know what Lee's like. He was an outstanding fighter and a pure boxer as well. And the things that he explains to me about boxing, he opens up my mind, and we share enthusiasm.
You sound like, just speaking to you now, you sound like you're a massive boxing fan as well as a boxer.
Yeah, definitely.
It's actually surprising that the number of boxers who are not necessarily boxing fans.
Oh, they don't watch boxing, a lot of these fighters. You talk to them about even what's on today, or even the classic fights, they don't know. Okay, so you're having your 4th fight on the 28th September. Do you know you're boxing yet? Yeah, correct. I think I'm fighting a guy they call the Camden Caretaker.
Oh, right, okay.
So, yeah, he's a tough boy, and I've heard a few things. I haven't actually seen him fight yet, but we've got a month to sort that out.
That's Chapman, Robbie Chapman.
Yeah, you know, that's it.
Yeah, I've commentated on a couple of his fights. Twice actually I watched him upset people in the York Hall, so depending on what sort of mood he's in, you could have a tough fight in your hands.
I'm not worried about that. I know any version of himself that turns up, I'll be fine.
And what stage do you think you'll be ready for title fights, whether it be like Welsh title or Celtic title or that type of thing?
So I've had 3 fights now, 4-rounders, stepping up to a 6-rounder now, and I think after I get my 6-rounder done, I think I'm entitled to go for a Welsh title, whether it's another 6-rounder after this, then Welsh title, but the next 2 to 3 fights, I hope.
And what weight do you think you'll be fighting for those titles at?
At the moment, super middle, 100%.
And I mean, you look pretty tall, so I mean, you probably fill out over time. I mean, what weight do you think you could go up to in boxing as you progress?
Light heavy, I do like the idea of light heavy, and I like all the classic light heavyweight fights, and there's a lot around now at light heavy. But you know yourself, super middle at the moment in Wales is where the action's at, and that's what I'm after.
Okay, so I mean, who would you like to fight for the Welsh Super Middleweight title, ideally?
Oh, do you know, I know all the boys who are super middle and all that, and I'm not going to call anyone out in particular, but it's not personal, it's just business in this game, innit? And whoever they throw at me, I'm a level above in of that title, and there's no problem at all.
So there's nobody in Wales at the moment who you'd be bothered about fighting. Like, I don't want to throw any names out there, but I mean, is there any particular person you'd like to fight?
Whoever has a title at the time, because obviously Ethan, who is a friend of mine, has a Welsh title now. He boxed very well in his last fight, but like I said to you, it's 2 or 3 fights down the line. Whether he defends it, whether he vacates it or not, that's his decision, and it's not up to me. And whoever has a title at the time, I'm not going to turn it down for any reason, you know.
Okay, so what's the big boxing dream for you, mate?
You know what, me and Leo's discussed this, and we say winning titles and defending titles is as important. You know, Lee won the British title outright, and I'd like to get a British title and get a few notches on it and move on from there.
I mean, so would you like to actually win the British belt outright? I mean, that's quite an old-fashioned thing to do. A lot of top fighters tend to move past it now.
I'm an old-fashioned guy. I'd love to do that.
Okay, so who are your favourite boxers? Who would you like watching? I mean, who are your heroes?
Controversial one, but my favourite fight is Bernard Hopkins.
Oh, right, okay.
But I love that era of boxing. Oscar De La Hoya, Shane Mosley, Tito Trinidad, James Toney. Yeah, brilliant.
So who do you think won between Hopkins and Calzaghe?
I watched that the other day, actually. And I'm from Wales, I'm a Welshman. I'm not going to go against Calzaghe at that time in his career. He's a hard man to beat, Calzaghe. But I'll have to go Calzaghe on that.
And I know you watched it recently then. I mean, I remember thinking at the time that Hopkins was lucky not to have a point taken off him in that fight for all his antics and playing up to the referee.
That's in most of his fights, isn't it? That's what I like about him. He's a nightmare to fight against. He makes it hard for the opponent, and he's a tactician and perfect strategy all the time. I admire that.
Okay, mate. So how do fans get tickets for your next fight on the 28th September in Cardiff?
They contact me on my social media, Instagram, @HarrisKhan_, or just Harris Khan on Facebook. And my phone number's on the poster, and just contact me, and I want to get as many people there as possible.
Have you any sponsors you'd like to thank?
Yeah, I've got a good few sponsors, and they are brilliant in helping me along with my career. So I'd like to thank Airmac, Boss Security, Montenay FX, Team Mercedes Cardiff, and Scorpion Recruitment.
And could you just explain to the viewers and some of your fans how these sponsors help you? Because it now sounds a bit silly, but it's not actually cheap to be a professional boxer.
No, it's not at all. There's big stints of not fighting. We obviously get paid per fight, but in between we need to fund our career. And I'd also like to shout out my strength and conditioning coach, David Judd, the Dathlete. He's brilliant. He's the best in the game.
Okay, mate. Last question then. I mean, 28th September against the Candom caretaker, Robbie Chapman, who's a very good fighter. What type of fight can we expect from you?
I'm going to make it as easy as possible for myself. I think a one-sided mismatch, I think. There won't be any exchanges, yeah.
Okay, mate. Good luck, and I'll see you on the night.
Thank you very much.
Awesome. Brilliant. Cheers, mate. Thank you.